All right, so let's start with the root of the problem. The root of the volume trap. Why more content is making fewer people book you now, right? So if this is your first time getting into the webinar, this part of the series, an 8-part series. Make sure you do watch the entire webinar and watch other parts of the webinar as well. Volume doesn't add reach, right? On top of what's working, it repeats what isn't. People think that volume actually does add more reach. Sorry. People think that volume actually add more reach on top of what's working, right? But what it actually does, sorry there's some noise in the background, you really bear with me. I want to make sure that this recording is done regardless. And I have to be in this environment for some time. So you just have to bear with me. Thank you. So you repeat what isn't working as well. So what's actually happening? What's actually happening? So more content without facing the underlying weak layer doesn't reach new people who are more likely to convert, right? It just repeats the same unclear promise or scattered proof more often in front of more strangers who then also don't convert, right? Volume amplifies whatever is already there, weak or strong. That's the thing. There were already some leaks or some weaknesses in your content, right? When you decide that I'm going to post more, you may not realize it. It may have produced some results for you. In fact, the one thing that maybe I didn't talk about much in this web in those slides is that it may not even have been content that you posted that actually drove clients to you last year or the previous year. It may not even have been that. So your content may have all those leaks already, and and they are just there, but the business is still making money. But now that you are spending intentionally more money, more resources on making more content, it now feels right that the content should produce something. But again, if those leaks have not been fixed, things will not change. So yeah, what's volume that is, I actually scale the problem. So why is this actually bigger than it is? This isn't last week post underperform, right? It's not just a one-time thing. It's a 12 months of compounding every time frequency went up. So the ratio, this is the ratio of impressions that don't convert grew right alongside it. So maybe you used to have 1,000 impressions, you end up getting like 10 clients, which is not bad. But now, when the fees has not been done, you are looking at 100,000 impressions, still the 10 or 12 clients, and sometimes unfortunately 8. And so it feels so much not right. So the feeling of more, right? More effort now sits next to fewer results than a year ago. And that gap is what's eroding your confidence, not a lack of skill. Unfortunately, it's issues like that. Maybe people, when it persists for months, for weeks, they make some coaches and some consultants start questioning themselves, especially there. But it's not only you, it's not only who you are or what you know. Is more about how that knowledge is being communicated out there through your content. So let's look at it practically. Same coach, 2 different weeks. Last year, 3 posts per week, right? 1 clear promise per week. Proof shown in sequence. 1 consistent ask. 6 inquiries per month. Not bad. So the coach over there doesn't even know that he's even making a consistent promise. That's something that may even happen. He doesn't know that he's not intentional about it. He was just making it, but not only knowing the logic behind it and the power of it. Right, then proof were being shown in sequences as well. Great job. Maybe it was also done randomly. Then 1 consistent ask. Great job. Maybe also done randomly. But now moving to now spend more money, right? Now he's doing what? Daily posting. Same promise, but then restated in 7 ways. Since there was no real understanding of this, the value, the power of this promise being made over and over, is not being taken so seriously. But now what comes in is that the same promise is restated in 7 different ways. And then what happens? Proof is scattered across the week. So whatever it calls testimonials or okay, all right. Whatever he calls testimonials or proofs of what he can do, they are being put out there, but what's happening is that it's being scattered. Like it's not organized in a way that actually communicates something valuable that will actually lead to more inquiries or more bookings. And then CTA changes post to post. You will not want that. You will not want that. Even if most of the time those things are easier to understand when we put ourselves in the shoes of the viewers. I gave this example in the webinar that when the people finally have, even if they don't have the problem that you are solving right now, you want them to know exactly what to do the day and the time they have that problem. Like when they know that, okay, now I have this relationship issue in my marriage and I need a relationship coach. And you are that relationship coach. They must, when that thing comes to their mind, they must know the exact way to reach out to you, or the exact way to get in contact with you. It should not be now, it should not be too scarce. Imagine if now you have like, take a 15-minute quiz, okay, book a 15-minute call, uh, click DM me in the comment section, like multiple call to action that I've seen over time. Definitely sometimes some content require multiple, some people do say that some content require different type of call to action. But again, you want to put yourself in the shoes of the viewers and those that will become your customers one day. They want simplicity around your brand, particularly in the way to relate with you. It must be that clear that this is the way to get to this person. This is the way to get to maybe if you have a course and you don't do bookings, you don't do assessments, you don't offer anything free. It's just a course. Let it be that, okay, I need to take this person course. But there must be that consistency, right? But I will talk more about it, and I spoke about it as well in the previous webinar. All right. So before you fix anything, find out if you're actually in the volume trap. So, I mean, don't try to jump on whatever is being said here. Do this here, right? And then the reason why I put this here is that I actually want you to see that you are clearly in the volume trap. I want you to move. When you click on the video to watch this, it was an assumption that, okay, maybe this is what's going on with my content, right? But when you go through this particular exercise, you will know for a fact with evidence in your mind and your eyes that this is actually what's happening. So how do you go about that? The first thing is compare last year frequency, right, and inquiries to this year. So you want to have four numbers. So how often were you posting last year, right? How often and how many inquiries were you getting last year? And then how often are you posting now? And then how many inquiries are you getting now? Year to year comparison, right? So frequency is up, inquiries are flat or down. That shows that you are dealing with a volume trap. That's a volume trap signature, not a coincidence. And then count how many of your last 20 posts you could delete without losing anything specific to your promise, without anyone noticing they are going. So when you look at this is the place where you know whether you are actually just posting for posting's sake or your posting is actually making an impact in the market. What does that mean here? That if you decide I'm going to delete a post, will it affect people's opinion, or you are just repeating the same type of thing, or like nothing? You are not really making much impact with your content. That's one of the things that I've come to believe personally when it comes to content. That like the idea of posting a lot daily and everything is good. It makes you feel like you are being productive. But sometimes it also makes you actually in the mind of they don't need somebody that they need to see many times. Surely, they just need to have in their mind, right, that you are the guy for their issue. And sometimes it's just one high quality post that shows clearly how you solve the exact problem that they have in a way that actually resonates with them. We do way more than 20 posts of you not saying much and just trying to keep the feed or the timeline busy. We do way more. So check whether your best performing post is old or recent. That's the first thing. So if you check whether your best performing post is old or recent. So if your highest converting piece is from over 6 months ago, right, volume hasn't been the level for a while. That's the truth of it. If the whatever converted the most, whatever got the most attraction towards your content, if it's something that is quite late and quite far from wherever you are now, it just hasn't been what has been moving things for you. So even if you decide on, all right, so you already know what's being diluted watching this, applying the things that we said here. Let's map it on your exact content. So this webinar gave you the real diagnosis, not a teaser. So a free 15-minute discovery call is the safest way to run the dilution check on your post and map a fix to your exact content. Right. So you want to book it in 15 minutes discovery call. with us, and that's actually free. So make sure you check the link in the description. All right. Thank you all once again for your attention. If you do have questions, you can leave them in the, you can book a call or just leave them in the comment section. I'll make sure that I do answer them and review them. I'll meet you in the next webinar. Bye bye.